In today's episode of the Hexagon Challenge, it is a rematch from the last episode in the Copa Libertadores Group Stage. We are taking on River Plate, this time at home. They will be looking for revenge from last episode. Can they get it? Let's see. Hello everyone, welcome back to Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. If you enjoy today's video, then please do hit that thumbs up button, and if you have not subscribed to the channel yet and are enjoying the series, then please hit that subscribe button as well as turning the notification bell on so you guys are informed when a new video drops on the channel. So it's been a few games since we last played at River Plate in the last episode. If you did not check that out, I highly suggest you do. One of the most entertaining games of the series to date, I would say, where we overcame them 5-2 after being 2-1 down with 20 minutes to go or so. Since then, a mixed bag. We had got a win against Cordelua 2-0 at home. In that game, we had goals scored by Hexagon in the 4th minute and then Mosquera in the 58th minute. After this game, a number of players decided it was a good time for a rest, and they were important players too. Alejandro Gutierrez, our 4.5-star rated striker, he went on a rest. So did Cerna, the centre-back, as well as Perez, our starting right-back. So 3 really big players, and add to the mix that Hector Boyer also picked up an injury, and we were still low on left back. So these last couple of games that we've been playing, we have been very short on numbers in terms of first team players. About half of our regular starters have been out, and the results because of that have not been quite as good. It was okay against Barranquilla, a 2-0 win where Duran got a goal in the 61st minute and Mosquera added one in injury time, but then we've struggled since then. We had a derby against Independiente Medellin and we were really poor here. I wasn't expecting a win with the team we put out, but I wasn't expecting to get hammered 3-0 by them, so that is a result that we will look to avenge in our last game of this league season for the first stage anyway, because we do play Independiente Medellin twice in the league, which is different to every other team who we play once in the first phase of the season. And then we took on once Caldas last game in a 1-1 draw, Kevin Angel getting a headed goal in the 27th minute from centre-back, but they pegged one back not long after that, and we could only get a draw against a team who we really should be beating. So our form coming into this River Plate game has not been great, but what we have done is we've been able to recall those players from their rest. They were a couple of days away from when they were supposed to come back. However, I felt that this River Plate game was too big for them to miss, so we are going to bring them back for this, and they can play out the rest of the Copa Libertadores Group Stage. We'll give them rests in the league when needed, and hopefully they don't need another rest later in the season. Also, since the last episode, we've been doing a little bit of transfer business, bringing players in to join us in the mid-season transfer window. We're still a fair few months away from that. You can see a lot of these players joining in early July, but with the rotation that we've been using, I haven't been very impressed with the quality that is throughout the squad. So we've been bringing players in who can strengthen us throughout. A couple of these transfers I'm pretty sure I already told you guys about, and Angel and Sanchez I believe we told you guys about as well, from Boca Juniors to Cali, a young centre-back. Some of these ones down here are more recent. The first one is a player from our Copa Libertadores group, Jose Acacete, I believe is how you say it, a Peruvian 20-year-old who I believe is just going to sneak in as an under-20 player for this season, so we won't need to register him in the league anyway. He is a good centre-back. He's going to be competing immediately with the likes of Ortiz, and he can cover left-backs, also Arroyo. He's a decent option for us. He is Peruvian, that's the only downside, but he's got 2 international caps already, and we have spent 1.2 million on him, so that's a little bit of the money that we got from Ronaldo Gutierrez earlier this season. The other player we tried to get in the first transfer window, but he picked up an injury. We've made the most of the fact that he is now injury-free and got him. That is Francisco Patino, a Venezuelan CDM who I thought looked very promising, and we've picked him up for about 550,000. With add-ons, it could get up towards that 850 mark, I believe, somewhere around there in the $900,000 mark. Some of his stats look really good for the deep lying playmaker role, the passing technique. We've been over this guy before when I think we were about to sign him earlier in the season, or we were looking at him. He looks a very good player, and happy to be getting him on board. We've already talked about Noah, a Frenchman who will be coming in. And we've also got a Brazilian, a older Brazilian in Guilherme for 105,000. A player who has been around for a long time. Another player very well suited to the deep line playmaker role. He's definitely getting towards the end of his career, but hopefully he can pass a bit of knowledge on to our younger boys, and he's going to do a good job for us as a squad player. He is Brazilian, so how long he hangs around here, I'm not sure. He's probably going to be one of the first players that we look to move on with his age and potential should we find players who are better quality than him from other countries with the 4-player foreign rule in Colombia. But he should do a decent job for us. To get him for 105,000 I thought was a really good deal, so that's why we are going to bring him in. So we've definitely got some reinforcements coming in the mid-season window, and hopefully that will bolster the strength of the squad, because that's the concern I've got. Some of the players who we have been bringing through just aren't quite good enough. And we've also got one Fuentes, a player who I was considering letting go at the start of the season. We ended up keeping him. Luckily we did, because he's actually been playing pretty well for us. But you can see he's steadily going down ability-wise in terms of the rest of the squad. A 31-year-old. He is Chilean, so another foreigner. Maybe we'll be looking to move him on at some stage. He's good at long throws. That's the thing that does benefit him. But I don't know, he's starting to go down. It might be a good time to cash in on him. I did suspect that might be the case earlier in the season, and it's definitely coming to fruition now. In terms of starting lineup, I'm pretty happy with the overall balance of it. There's Fuentes and Buitrago, who Buitrago wouldn't normally be in there because Hector Boya still out injured. He is going to be out for about another week after injuring his hernia. In terms of other first team injuries, most of the players are good. We've got Holazo and Molillo coming back, who aren't far away at all. I think they're both okay to play in today's game, but we might leave it. But the one thing you'll notice is on this bench, it's all sort of 2.5 two-star players, and a lot of these players are players that in an ideal world I'd like to be sending out on loan while we have stronger options at the club. So that's something that I'm definitely trying to work on in this window, and just improve that overall depth so that when we do have injuries or players needing a rest, it's not a bigger drop from this first team to the second team, because that's the big thing I'm noticing at the moment, and we're not quite able to keep up that consistency that I would like us to have when that situation does arise. Another interesting transfer saga that is going on is the Oscar Estupiñán one. He doesn't want to leave. I don't really want to sell him, but Atletico Nacional, they are offering us a lot of money for him. I have recently turned down over $20 million for this player. The main reason is I can't find someone who's going to slot in exactly how he does. One, he's Colombian. Two, he's a very good aerial player, which is a bonus for a left winger. And he's our top goal scorer. He's going to be sorely missed if we let him go. But again, he's 29 years old, and the money they're offering is just ridiculous. If they come in and we've got someone who is a straight replacement for him, then I think we'll let him go, because getting something like 25 million for a player like this, we'll be able to buy a replacement maybe for half, a third of that money, and we'd still have some money left over to bolster the overall strength for the rest of the squad, and that's something that I would like to do. It's the one thing that I've started to realise is a bit of an issue here. So I'm not against selling Oscar, especially with the money that's being offered. I just need to find a good replacement first. If we look at our shortlist and go to the attacking left mid, we've got some players here. Ronaldo Ariza is the obvious one, but he's not quite as tall, so he's not an exact swap for swap, but he's also on a higher wage, but he could be an option. I mean, we've got decent headers of the ball at the back, so we could always change our set pieces so that the left winger isn't as big an option. But yeah, he's a 28-year-old Colombian. I don't know if there's much point upgrading from a 29-year-old to a 28-year-old. I'll probably be looking for someone a little bit younger with good talent or similar talent, and at the moment I haven't been able to find that, so I'm leaning towards keeping Oscar at the moment. But if the money keeps coming, Atletico Nacional, then it might be too good to turn down. It could boost that transfer budget up to something like 30 million for the mid-season window, and that would be pretty good to strengthen our squad for the second half of the season, which would include the second phase of Colombia, as well as hopefully some Copa Libertadores knockout stages. So competition-wise, after those results, in terms of where we're sitting, we're still in a pretty good position in the league. We're 3 points clear. We've had our game in hand with those 3 games in between these River Plate games. We're in a decent position. You see the recent form of the league is not great, but we are now coming to a point where the gaps between the Copa Libertadores games is getting bigger, so we will be able to put our first team out more often than we have been able to over the first half of this Copa Libertadores season. In the end, we only need to finish in the top 8 to be making the semi-final group stage. So I think we're in a pretty good position. We're 12 points clear. With 6 games to go, we're 12 points clear. We're getting close to being safe in the top 8. I would still like to finish top overall, but it isn't the end of the world if we don't. It doesn't really affect things too much in terms of our chances of winning the overall first phase competition. So today we're in the Copa Libertadores River Plate. The table is the same as it was at the end of the last River Plate game, where River Plate currently sit outside the top 2. It's Municipal who would be going through with us at the moment with goal difference. A win here would be a very big step towards going through to the next stage, and it would also put River Plate in the mud a little bit. So that would be something that we could perhaps do. We could put River Plate in a bit of bother, and that would be quite nice to make them start sweating, because they're the team that I imagined would be going up alongside us if everything went to plan. Of course, River Plate did have us on the ropes for most of the last episode's game, so we do definitely have to respect them, but we are at home this time, and with a few players back off a freshen up, I am hoping to see a much improved performance from the last few that I have seen. But we will come back to you guys when we get into the TV coverage for this big game. River Plate at home. Can we do the double over them this season? So here we are. Here's the TV coverage. So back in the team, Aloyo is back, and we've got Bui Trago in for an injured Boya. Otherwise, it's our first team. Obviously, some of those players first up since a rest, but we're pretty good. Only Boya being the first team player out at the moment. River Plate, I noticed some names like Munoz from the first league who gave us a bit of a hard time, so it's going to be interesting to see how we get on against them today. We are in our home uniform, the white with the green stripe, but it will be River Plate in their mostly red, kicking off and playing right to left, and there is Lopez Munoz early. I have gone back to an extremely high tempo. I did switch to the high tempo for some of those games, and I might be judging it a bit unfairly because our squad hasn't been as good as it should be when I'm trying that out the usual high tempo compared to the extremely high tempo that did such a good job for us at the end of the last episode, that high tempo. But we've gone back and we can always switch it should we need to, as Lopez Munoz gets us on the counter from a long throw, and he's just glided past Arroyo. I think that was a shot that is wide, but Lopez Munoz already looking dangerous. 0-0 after 10 minutes. Free kick after 15 minutes is to us, Atletico Nacional, and Perez will receive it back. His first game off the back of a freshen up. Puts a cross in. Oscar got pushed, and it looks like it's going to be a penalty. It certainly appeared like a clear one. Now, VAR is going to get involved, but to me, that looked pretty clear as day. And indeed, it is a penalty. So we've got a chance to go ahead here. We haven't done much yet. And Hexagon gets the yellow card. Another player who was quite dangerous last game. But Oscar will step up. Can he give us the lead? No, that's a terrible penalty from Oscar. Oh dear. He's at a shocker. That's a golden chance that's gone begging for us. 0-0 still after 18 minutes. Corner after 19 minutes. Duran to whip it in. Can we get on top? Serna heads it in, and this time we're going to go 1-0 up. That makes up for that Oscar penalty miss somewhat. Boy, that was a shocker, wasn't it? But we've got a goal not long after, only about 2 minutes since that penalty. Duran whips it in nicely, and Serna first up since a break. He got a Colombian call up just after that last River Plate game too, so he is definitely on a high, is Serna, and we have got back on track. 1-0 after 22 minutes. Throw in after 31 minutes to us, Atletico Nacional. Perez gets the ball played back to him, and it goes up to Julan. So to run out from our half, up to Perlaza. Still unhappy with me, and he's given the ball away there, up to Dragon. That right-hand side of River Plate is extremely dangerous, although it looks like it will be Uzi on the left here with a chance. And straight at Lara from a very tight angle. Don't mind that at all if we can keep these shots from angles like that. As Insane clears out for River Plate, but straight to Perez, who finds Duran. Up to Gutierrez in a lovely spot. Can he make it 2-0? Should have gone around the keeper there. I think he had a chance, but to be fair, the keeper closed that down nicely after giving the ball away. And now we have a throw-in that Fuentes puts deep. It's been cleared by the keeper, I think. It was very messy. Fuentes gets the ball stolen from him on the edge of the box, and Gaia is running down the left for River Plate. Can they get us on the counter? A good tackle from Buitrago, and we get possession back. Perlaza over to Oscar. It's a decent length highlight this, so something might be coming from it. Hopefully it's for us. Oloyo, Oscar, Gutierrez played nicely, but Insane again getting to the ball before Gutierrez, and it's Lopez Munoz who's just going to jog through our defence. Boy, he's good. Here's a shot. It is just wide. It looked like he was trying to curve that just inside the left-hand post. Can't make it happen. Still 1-0 after 35 minutes. And we are up to half-time. A half which I think we've been the better team. They've had some decent chances, mainly on that right-hand side with Dragun and Lopez Munoz. If we got that penalty and we score it, I would be very happy. We did get the penalty, of course, but Oscar blasted it well wide, which was disappointing. He is not having a good game for a player who getting $25 million offers for. Of course, I do have to state too that I'm playing with New Zealand dollars, so it's like about 12 million UK pounds, but still big money over here in Colombia. But I think we've done well there. You look at the XG, obviously the penalty helps, but in general, I think we've still been better. We had some good chances late in the half for Gutierrez, but I think we're playing pretty well. I know that Perlaza was getting on a red hard at the end of that first half, so he's a player we'll probably look to take off at some stage, as well as Oscar if he keeps this current run of form up. But overall, pretty happy with how things are going, but I don't know how much longer we can hold on against this River Plate team who are very good. Tell the boys that they're capable of better and that we have faith, and we will crack into the second half where we will be kicking off and playing right to left. A second goal would be very nice. Fuentes is also on a yellow card, so that's another player that we might consider taking off, albeit our depth in midfield not quite as strong as I would normally have it with Boya out and Buitrago in the starting lineup, but it is 1-0 as we get into the second half. Throw in to River Plate after 50 minutes. Can they get a quick reply in the second half to level things up? Gaia finds Urzi. He works his way nicely on the wrong side of Perez, but blasts his shot wide. They're definitely creating chances, River Plate, but not putting them away. And Perlaza does look knackered, and we don't want any more players after rest at this stage of the season. So what we will do is we will take Perlaza off. Montoya, I believe, to be the next best midfielder, and I'm not very happy with Oscar, I have to say, so I think what we're going to do is bring Mosquera on for him. He is in pretty good form, so we'll make those two changes for now. Early in the second half, we've got one more early stages. I'd say that's going to be Fuentes coming off, but we'll see how we get on. 1-0 after 55 minutes, and it is a goal kick to River Plate. Insane puts it long, tries to find Gaia, but it's cut out by Cerner, and he gets up to Gutierrez, who might be able to get past his man here. Around the right, past Plata, puts a ball in for Duran. Mosquera's got the ball. It's a goal off the bench, an absolute mess at the back from River Plate. It was all thanks to the intercept by Cerner, who has come back into this team and got a goal, and now, well, not an assist, but it's like a lead-up assist, isn't it? Pass to assist, gives it to Gutierrez. He gets past Plata. Insane, doesn't claim the ball under the pressure from, I think it was Julan, and Mosquera off the bench gets a goal. 2-0, things looking very good here for us, and we now have a throw-in. Fuentes puts it deep. Gutierrez trying to get onto it. Duran does. Oh my God, Insane looks very shaky at the back, but keeps it out somehow, and it remains 2-0. Okay, we're 65 minutes into the game now, and we've got another player on a red heart, so that is going to be our last change. We will change things up ever so slightly because of it. Wormsley will come on for Julan, and we'll switch them around so Wormsley is the left winger and Mosquera is on the right. Duran did a very good game, but we'll keep him in check with a 2-0 lead. We might be able to get away with it. 2 players on yellow cards now, 2 Angel Perez, but we'll get into the rest of the second half. 2-0 up with 25 to go. We've got the ball at 66 minutes. Wormsley tried to find Gutierrez. It's got out to Dragon on a yellow card and he keeps it in. And it goes back to Mast, also on yellow cards, so a few people have picked them up in this game. Back up to Dragon, who just keeps that ball in. Fernandez. Back out to Dragon. They're definitely trying to expose us down the right, aren't they? Negrella. Into Lopez Munoz. Dragon, those two, the players that tortured us last game. And back to Dragon yet again. Fernandez gets in behind our defender there. Here's a shot. It's across the face of the box and is pretty safe. And luckily, most of these shots have not been on target. It remains 2-0 with 20 to go. And it's a throw in here to Fuentes. He tries, don't know who he was trying to find there because there's no one going onto it. Now Gayoso is in behind here, lots of time. And he tries to chip the keeper, and luckily it hasn't come off for him. You have to say he probably could have had more options than just that one, but we've got away with it. Lara just doing enough to keep that out with help from the woodwork, and River Plate definitely creating enough chances to be in this game, but they haven't taken advantage of them as we head that corner clear. Gutierrez tried to get on the end of it. Might have, but the highlight ended. It is still 2-0 with 15 to go. Throw in to River Plate with 12 minutes coming up to finish this game. Garcia knocks it back to Negrella. Thought Gutierrez might have had a chance to get on the end of that, but he decided to save his energy, and it might be fair enough because he might have a little run up coming here to try and get on the attack as Wormsley has the ball after we intercept it. Buitrago to Mosquera. He finds Montoya in a lovely spot, but a lovely save from Insane. It was a really good effort, really good build-up play. Hit the shot powerfully, but forced a good save out of the keeper. And now we have a corner that Wormsley puts in, and it looked like Flores for them headed that clear out to Valdez, and they are off on the left-hand side, a side which they haven't been as dangerous on as the right-hand side, but there is still time for them to change that fort as it goes out to Flores. Plata, he's also on a yellow card. A lot of their defence on yellow cards here as they switch it out to Valdez on the left, and that's the highlight. Although they've got another one soon after, and it's back on that right-hand side. Dragon puts a ball in. Ortiz clears it out to Wormsley. Back to Cerna. Pumps one for Gutierrez, and he should have pace on these defenders, especially on yellow cards. What can he do? Squares it up for Mosquera. Here's a shot on the volley. It wasn't hit very powerfully, though, just wide, and it remains 2-0 with 10 to go. 92nd minute of 95 minutes. They have a corner, but Lara will claim it. And it looks like we're going to hold them out here. They've definitely created chances, but haven't been as clinical as they would like. And Gutierrez is going to flick that on. That goal kick from Lara onto Wormsley. He gets in the box, squares it up, but Plata clears. And Lopez Munoz now for River Plate will try and get us on the counter. They scored now. It would make things interesting. Fuentes is dribbled past by Valdez. They have a shot, but that is well wide. They're getting plenty of chances, but they have not been nearly clinical enough. It looks like we're going to be holding on for a 2-0 win here. And we're coming up to 95 minutes. A lot of players on red hearts, which is not ideal. And Arroyo has also picked up a little niggle. They put it one in for Gayoso, but Lara is able to clear, and a very good 2-0 win for us. We bounce back from some average league form yet again in a game against River Plate, and a very good performance, you'd have to say. Our defender's doing a good job. Cerna in particular has gone down as the best performer, and with a goal early on in the first half after Oscar missed a penalty, and then a key header that got Gutierrez into the clear, and then he put a ball in, which after a little bit of a mess, which was made of it by the River Plate defence and Insane in goal in particular, Mosquera tucked away. A good win, and really we probably should have won that 3-0 considering the penalty, but I am more than happy with that. And River Plate are now going to be in a bit of trouble in trying to get out of this group, I imagine. I'll tell the boys that was a good win. Good way to get our regular starters back in the mix with Boya yet to come back. And in the other game, it was a draw between Municipal and Emelec, so we're in a really good position here. We only need one more result to be getting out of this group, and a draw, in fact, is enough to see us qualify, as River Plate can only draw level with us. And on goal difference, when you look at the goal difference, you're going to have to take an absolute breakdown from us to not be qualifying out of this group. Once again, the coach is suggesting I rest Cerna. I've only just brought him back. That's just ridiculous. Tell him that we'll rest him for the next match, and hopefully that sorts it out, because he's been wanting a rest far too much lately. He's just been away for 2 weeks, and he's tired after his first game back. So as much as he's a good player, he's starting to get a little bit irritating in that regard. Cerna. One Arroyo, luckily just a minor injury, so we'll get him on general rehab. and he should be fine for our next game, which is against Emelec, I believe. It is in 2 weeks' time. We've got 2 games in between now and then, but that is a game at our home ground that we really should be winning. We bet these guys 6-0 earlier in the season, and if we can win that, we are going to be guaranteed to go through top of the group in the Copa Libertadores, and that will achieve the board objectives that they had put out for us, which will be a nice way to start our time here at Atletico Nacional. So that will do for today's episode. Emelec tomorrow. If you have enjoyed that result over River Plate yet again, then please do leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you have not already, then subscribe to the channel and turn that notification bell on. But until tomorrow's episode, where we take on Emelec and bring you guys the highlights of these 2 games, I'd say enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.